What if ancient wisdom held these like profound blueprints for understanding ourselves, for navigating life's complexities,
Right.
and they were all neatly organized into these powerful groups of three? Imagine a kind of shortcut to clarity, revealing hidden patterns in your experiences, patterns that honestly feel surprisingly relevant even now.
Absolutely.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into this really extraordinary ancient text. It's often called the Book of Threes from the Itivutaka.
A fascinating collection, very concise.
Exactly. And we want to unpack its incredibly profound teachings. Our mission really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge for you, give you a fresh perspective,
And maybe spark a few aha moments.
hopefully, about your inner world, your outer actions. Get ready to feel more informed, maybe find some surprising facts, and, keep it engaging without being overwhelming.
It's a text that really distills complex ideas into, well, memorable insights. Almost like a mental toolbox, you could say, from the ancient world.
Okay, let's unpack this blueprint then, starting right at the foundation of our being. The Itivutaka, it immediately points to internal states as the source of harm, not external forces.
Yeah, that's key.
It introduces what it calls the three unwholesome roots. These are greed, aversion, and delusion. In Pali, that's lobha, dosa, moha.
And what really stands out here is the emphasis on internal causation.
Yeah.
The text actually says these roots are self-born.
Born. Okay.
Yeah, and that they harm a person like sapwood, takasarava samphalan. Think of it like a disease festering from within.
So it's our own greed, our own aversion.
It's exactly our own delusion that wounds us. It sort of decays our well-being from the inside out. It's a pretty strong claim that external stuff, while, obviously present, isn't the main source of our suffering.
So if those are the roots of suffering, the unwholesome side, what's the path towards a wholesome life? The text most contrasts them, right?
It does. It contrasts them with three qualities that help a practitioner, as it puts it, shine like the sun beyond Mara's realm.
Beyond Mara's realm.
Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
That would be morality, sila. Then concentration, samadhi. And finally, wisdom, panya.
Sila, samadhi,
Yeah.
panya.
These are really the foundational qualities for spiritual development. They let you transcend the realm of Mara, that symbolic figure of obstacles, temptation, even death. It's a kind of progressive path of inner purification.
Okay, so this understanding of internal states, wholesome qualities, it naturally leads to our actions, doesn't it? Good and bad conduct.
Precisely. The text then details three types of misconduct: bodily, verbal, and mental. And their consequences are quite clear, leading to lower realms, states of suffering.
You're right. For those with wrong views.
Exactly, and you're right. And what's really compelling, I think, is that the Buddha explicitly states he saw these consequences. He didn't just hear about them.
He says, Diyamaya, seen by me.
Wow. How does that change things? It makes it less philosophical, more empirical almost,
Right.
within its own framework. That's a great way to put it. It really does move beyond just belief or intellectual agreement. When he emphasizes seen by me, it's a claim of direct, verifiable insight, not hearsay. And that kind of challenges us, to consider the certainty of moral cause and effect. It pushes us to look at the direct impact of our actions way beyond just immediate gratification.
And presumably there's a flip side, good conduct.
Oh, absolutely. The text highlights the three types of good conduct: bodily, verbal, mental again, and their consequences lead to higher realms, sagaloka, states of bliss, positive outcomes for those with right views. It's like this personal experiential validation of karma.
Okay, so we've got the roots of actions, the conduct itself. What about just our immediate moment-to-moment experience, our feelings?
Right. The text dives straight into that. Our emotional landscape, it talks about the three types of feelings: pleasant, sukha, unpleasant, dukkha, and that neutral zone, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, adukkha sukha.
Okay, that seems straightforward enough.
Well,
Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral.
but then comes this really counterintuitive instruction. It says pleasant feelings should be seen as suffering. Dukkha dehapa.
Wait, why? See pleasant feelings as suffering?
Yeah.
That feels completely wrong. Especially today, we're all about chasing pleasure.
I know, it sounds jarring, doesn't it? But it's not really about denying pleasure. It's more about recognizing its inherent impermanence, its potential for dissatisfaction.
How so?
Well, pleasant feelings are seen as suffering because they're fleeting, our craving for them to continue, our attachment that inevitably leads to distress when they fade away, right?
Ah, okay, so it's the clinging to the pleasantness that's the problem.
Exactly. And unpleasant feelings, they're seen as a dark, salato daihaba, something you'd obviously want to remove.
Makes sense.
And the neutral ones, they're just to be seen as impermanent, anakaro daihaba, just transient.
So understanding this whole picture, it changes how you relate to feelings.
Completely. It transforms perception. It helps break that cycle of craving, Tacha. Honestly, it can be a real aha moment for people grappling with contentment, realizing that, true peace comes from a kind of detachment, not from constantly chasing the next high.
And speaking of craving, Tacha, the text goes into more detail there too, right? 3 fundamental searches or types of craving.
Yes, isana and tacha. It talks about sensual craving, kamasana, then craving for existence, babesana. And interestingly, even craving for the holy life itself, brahmakaryasana, that can become a subtle attachment too.
Wow, even wanting enlightenment can be a craving.
Potentially, yes, if it's grasped at in the wrong way. These connect to the broader idea of tacha in 3 forms. Craving for sensual pleasures, kamatamcha, craving for existence or becoming, havaccha, and craving for non-existence, vibhavaccha, like wanting to disappear or cease.
That covers a lot of ground.
It does, and the text puts it powerfully. Beings bound by craving wander in samsara, that cycle of birth and death. Craving is basically the engine keeping it going.
Okay, if craving is the engine, what are the deeper pollutants, the things that really bind us? The text calls them defilements, I think. Asava.
That's right, the asava, there are 3. Sensual defilement, kamasava, the defilement of becoming, babasava, and the defilement of ignorance, avijasava.
Ignorance as a defilement. Interesting.
Very. And the teaching says that understanding where these come from, how they arise, and how they cease, that's what leads to liberation. It's a profound insight, really. Someone whose defilements are totally exhausted bears the last body, having conquered Mara.
The last body, meaning no more rebirth.
Exactly. A complete spiritual victory, the end of the cycle.
Our inner world isn't just feelings and cravings, though. It's thoughts, right? That constant internal monologue.
Absolutely critical. The text identifies 3 unwholesome thoughts: sensual thought, kamavitako, ill will thought, vyepadavitako, and cruelty or harming thought, visarudako.
Okay.
And it says these lead to blindness and hekaran, lack of sight, lack of knowledge, akakukaran. They actively hinder wisdom.
So it sounds like our internal chatter literally shapes our world, our ability to see clearly, if it's full of this stuff.
That's precisely the point. These thoughts obscure our vision. They make us unable to see reality as it truly is.
So how do we shift that dialogue?
Well, the text contrasts them with 3 wholesome thoughts. The thought of renunciation, nekamavitako, non-ill will, avyopadavitako, and non-harming, avisavitako.
Renunciation, non-ill will, non-harming.
Yeah. And these are said to lead to clarity, to knowledge, to the growth of wisdom. Ultimately, they point towards nibbana, liberation.
So it's a clear instruction. Cultivate these thoughts.
Consciously cultivate them. To cut through the mental fog and foster genuine insight, it's about actively shaping our inner world for the better.
Okay, so from these inner states, the text then takes us on this journey of liberation. It describes increasingly subtle realms of experience using 3 elements. Dhatuyu.
That's right. The form element, rupatatu, the formless element, arupatatu, and the cessation element, nirotadatu.
Form, formless, cessation.
And these aren't just abstract ideas. They describe a path, a journey into progressively subtler states of being. The really profound insight here is that ultimate peace isn't just about transcending the physical.
No.
No, it's about moving beyond any form, even subtle mental forms, to reach the utter stillness of cessation, nirodha. It's kind of a radical redefinition of ultimate reality. Peace isn't found in something, but in a complete letting go.
Wow.
And realizing this cessation, the text says, leads to transcending death, becoming a death leaver, makuhino.
To actually see this path clearly, we need the right kind of vision, right?
Right.
The text talks about 3 eyes, kaku,
Yeah.
the physical eye, masakaku, the divine eye, divakaku, and the wisdom eye, panyakaku.
Physical, divine, wisdom.
Think about how we see. Physical eye gives us sensory input. The divine eye, maybe call it expanded awareness, might reveal patterns beyond the obvious. But it's the wisdom eye, the panyakaku, that truly transforms.
It's not literal sight, then. Not necessarily magical sight, no. It's about understanding reality so deeply, so fundamentally, that suffering just falls away. It's the ultimate aha moment, seeing things exactly as they are. And that leads to release from all suffering, sabaduka pamukatiti.
And as we're on this journey, the text also mentions the 3 times, past, future, present. Ada, how does that fit in?
Well, the teaching there is that beings attached to the designation of existence, akeyasunyino, are subject to death.
Designation of existence.
Ah.
What does that mean, practically?
Think about how we constantly label ourselves and our experiences across time. You know, the me who did this in the past, the me who wants that in the future. Our suffering often gets tangled up in these ideas of a solid, continuous self.
Oh, okay.
True peace, according to this, comes from letting go of that constant mental construction, that need to always define and designate who I am in relation to time. It's about being fully present without being caught in those concepts.
This whole journey towards liberation, it's also described in stages, isn't it? Based on what still binds us.
Yes, the text mentions those bound by sensual desire, kama yoga yuto, and those bound by the desire for becoming or existence, bhava yoga yuto.
Mm-hmm.
And these help define the stages. There's the returner, ogami, who still has some attachments and will return to this realm. Then the non-returner, agami, who's free from sensual desire but still has that subtle attachment to existence, so they won't return here but aren't fully liberated.
And the final stage.
That's the arahant, araha, completely free from both sensual desire and the desire for becoming. All defilements extinguished, ultimate freedom. It's a clear progression.
And underpinning all of this spiritual progress must be some basics, like purity and discipline.
Absolutely essential. The text outlines 3 types of purity: bodily purity, kaisosia, verbal purity, vakasosia, and mental purity, manososia.
Body, speech, and mind again.
Always coming back to those. And similarly, 3 types of discipline, or perhaps sagacity: bodily discipline, kaimonia, verbal discipline, vakamonia, and mental discipline, manamonia.
And the result of all this purity and discipline.
The outcome is basically abandoning everything unwholesome, washing away all evil, as it's sometimes put. It's about aligning every single aspect of your being, body, speech, and mind with the path.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. How does this ancient wisdom translate into our practical lives, our impact on the world? The text talks about 3 bases of meritorious action. What are those?
These are really fundamental for lay practice as well. Generosity, dhanamaya, morality, silamaya, and mental development or meditation, bhavanamaya.
Generosity, morality, meditation.
Right. And cultivating these, the text says, leads to a happy world free from affliction, abhipacha sukhaloka. It's a very pragmatic blueprint for creating well-being, not just for yourself, but for the whole community.
That's interesting. And on generosity, there's that vivid analogy comparing donors to rain, isn't there?
Oh, yes, it's quite striking. Avuthi kasama, like rainless land giving to none. Then padesavasi, like local rain giving only to some. And finally, sabatabivasi, like rain falling everywhere, giving freely to all.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About how we choose to engage and contribute.
It powerfully shows the whole spectrum of generosity, from completely withholding to being universally beneficial. And building on that, the text gives 3 reasons why a wise person guards their morality, their sila.
Okay, why?
For praise, pasasa, gaining a good reputation. For wealth, voga, which often follows from trust and good conduct. And for a good destination, heaven, sugati. Practical benefits, both worldly and beyond.
And this brings up associations, who we spend time with.
Hugely important. How much do our associations shape us? The text is very direct about avoiding those who cause decline. It uses these strong analogies.
Like the rotten fish?
Exactly. Wrapping rotten fish in kusa grass makes the grass stink, but wrapping tagar flowers in leaves makes the leaves fragrant.
Associations like that.
Precisely. It's a serious caution against bad company. It even mentions Devada's decline being linked to his negative influences.
So the impact of individuals can be profound, for good or ill. Does it highlight positive examples too?
Yes. It identifies 3 types of individuals who arise specifically for the welfare of many, for gods and humans.
Who are they?
The Tathagata, the Buddha himself. An Arahant disciple, fully liberated. And the Seka, a disciple still in training but who is learned and moral. All 3 teach the Dharma, showing this kind of lineage of compassionate wisdom spreading outward.
And when it comes to actual giving, what does the text consider the highest forms?
Well, Dhammadana, giving the Dharma, sharing truth, understanding the path itself is stated as being supreme over Amisadana, which is material giving.
So sharing wisdom is better than giving stuff.
In the ultimate sense, yes. The same applies to sharing and helping in general. Giving the Dharma is paramount because it leads to liberation, to ending suffering entirely, not just providing temporary relief.
Okay, let's dive into some of the really surprising insights now. Things that might just, flip your perspective. There's one about the divine view of human birth.
Ah, yes, that one's fascinating. It details these 5 signs when a deity, a deva, is nearing the end of their life in a heavenly realm.
What are the signs?
Their flower garlands wither, their clothes get soiled, they start sweating from the armpits, oddly specific. Their body loses its radiance, and they become restless on their divine seat.
Okay, so they know the end is near. But then,
And then comes the twist. The text reveals the surprising good destination that other deities wish for the departing one: human existence.
human existence. We usually think of heaven or being a deity as the ultimate goal. This flips that completely on its head. Why is human birth seen as the good destination?
It absolutely does flip the script. The text explains that the supreme gain for a being, even a deity, is to attain unwavering faith in the Dharma as a human. And that well-established faith is rooted, unshakable.
But why human? Why not stay a deity?
Because the implication is human life offers this unique blend of suffering and opportunity. Enough suffering to motivate you to seek liberation, but also enough capacity and intelligence to understand and practice the path. Deities might be lost in immense pleasure for eons, potentially forgetting the need for liberation.
So the grit and challenge of human life is actually an advantage.
Exactly. It's in the crucible of human experience, the impermanence, the difficulties, the constant push and pull, that the path to Nibbana is most accessible. Genuine transformation happens here.
Wow, okay. And there are even divine proclamations, like a celestial cheering section when someone makes progress.
Sort of. 3 divine announcements are mentioned as a noble disciple progresses. First, when they are preparing for battle with Mara. Second, when they are actually in the midst of battling Mara. And third, when they have conquered the battle.
So the heavens are paying attention.
It seems so. It's like a recognition from those realms of the immense spiritual effort involved and the significance of each stage. A cosmic encouragement, perhaps?
The text also revisits those 3 fires, right? Greed, aversion, delusion, but with a difference.
Yes, the agi, greed, ragaji, aversion, dasagi, and delusion, mahagi. But this time, the focus is squarely on how to extinguish them.
And how do you do that?
It gives specific antidotes. For the fire of greed, contemplate repulsiveness or the non-attractive nature of things. For the fire of aversion, actively cultivate loving kindness, metta. And for the fire of delusion, develop wisdom, panya.
So practical tools, mental fire extinguishers.
That's a great way to put it. Specific antidotes for each specific fire.
There's also that teaching about what it means to be truly close to the Buddha. That challenges our usual ideas of connection too, doesn't it?
Immensely. It states flat out that physical closeness, even holding on to the Buddha's robe, is totally meaningless if that person is still full of greed, hatred, or malice.
So being physically near him wasn't the point.
Not at all. True proximity, the text says, is achieved by seeing the Dharma, Dhammapassati, understanding and embodying the teachings. A monk could be miles away physically, but if they've understood the Dharma and live it, they are truly close to the Buddha.
So connection is internal, experiential, not geographical.
Precisely. It cuts through any idea of relying on external figures or relics alone for salvation. It's about the inner transformation.
The text uses a pretty stark analogy too, the firebrand one, for a monk who isn't practicing properly.
Yes, it's quite graphic. It describes a monk who has given up lay life, but isn't fulfilling the purpose of monastic life either. They're like a firebrand that's been burned at both ends and is smeared with dung in the middle.
Ouch.
Yeah. Useless for lighting a fire in the village, and useless as timber in the forest. It's a powerful warning against spiritual hypocrisy, isn't it? Just going through the motions, benefiting neither from worldly life nor spiritual life.
Definitely a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, there's this radical redefinition of what it means to be a 3-knowledge Brahmin, Tivija Brahmante.
This is huge. What's fascinating here is that the text completely redefines this term, which traditionally referred to someone versed in the 3 Vedas, usually by birthright.
But the Buddha defines it differently.
Totally differently. A true 3-knowledge Brahmin, according to this text, isn't defined by birth or ritual knowledge, but by actual specific spiritual attainments.
What are they?
First, the recollection of past lives, Pubanivasa Anusarati. Second, the divine eye, Dibina Kakuna, seeing the arising and passing away of beings according to their karma. And third, the destruction of the defilements, asavanakaya, achieving liberation.
So it's entirely merit-based, experience-based,
Yeah.
not birth-based at all.
Exactly. It completely democratizes the idea, which raises an important question for us today, doesn't it? How do we define true wisdom or spiritual authority? Is it status, credentials, or is it lived experience and inner realization?
That's a really good question. And then reinforcing that central theme throughout, the text keeps coming back to impermanence as the key to peace.
Absolutely. It teaches that really seeing, really internalizing, that the body breaks up, kayanka bindantai, that consciousness fades, vinyanika viragika, and that all attachments, all formations, sabayupadi, are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. Anika dukkha viparyamatama.
That deep realization.
That deep realization leads directly to supreme peace, paramasanti, the end of rebirth. It's the ultimate liberation, achieved not through belief alone, but through profound, direct insight into the fundamental nature of reality.
Wow. We've really navigated a truly profound and yet incredibly concise ancient text today, revealing how organizing these deep concepts into threes provided this powerful framework for understanding spiritual growth, liberation,
Yeah.
everything, really.
It's amazing how effective that structure is.
Yeah. From our internal roots of suffering, greed, aversion, delusion, to the dynamics of our thoughts and feelings, even those surprising insights about divine realms and human potential, these teachings offer a kind of blueprint for well-being, a surprisingly practical guide.
It's really a testament to the enduring power of these simple yet incredibly deep categorizations. They guide introspection, they guide action, and they feel just as relevant thousands of years later.
So, for you listening, consider which three from our deep dive today really resonates with you right now. Maybe it's those three unwholesome roots. Are you seeing them operate in your life?
Or maybe the three types of feelings and that counterintuitive idea about pleasant feeling.
Or perhaps that really mind-bending insight about human birth being the supreme gain from a deity's perspective? Just pick one, three. How could applying that single insight, really reflecting on it, maybe change your perception of your own internal landscape? Or even just shift your daily interactions starting today?